are here. We'll start recording now. All right, so thank you everyone who has joined in on there. Everyone who's joining in today on their Monday. My name is Candice, one of the educators with Libby-Statique, and today I'm just pulling up the I'm sorry, 1 second, I had to save from the last one. There we go. Today we are going to be going over the brand newly launched Methode Regenerante, if I can find it. There we go. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Yes, amazing. I actually need to make this a little bit smaller. Okay. Sorry, guys. There we go. All right, so today is all about our new Methode Regenerante. If you have questions, please feel free to ask away. The presentation's quite large. It might take about an hour or so. Hopefully I will be able to answer as many questions as I can. If I can't, I will try to find out the information for you. So the first things, there we go. The first things we're going to start with is the new products. Freshly launched, they're going to have changes from the previous products, which was our anti-age, our biophenolin, and we have a brand new product called anti-gray, which I think people are going to be very excited about. So with this new range, we have new hair growth, less hair loss, up to 30,000 more hairs, and this was all conducted by 5 independent studies. So not by us, but by independent studies. Now, what we have is our new key ingredient. So this is going to be really the basis of how things have changed. So I'm going to read a little bit about this and then I'll elaborate as well. So this holistic method is an innovative and effective system for hair growth, creating a healthy scalp, fuller and thicker hair. Our exclusive ingredient, encapsulated Edelweiss extract, transports the extract in a targeted manner to the keratinocytes in the hair root, stimulating cell activity. This combined with the use of highly concentrated active ingredients that combat hair loss, nourish and revitalize the scalp, creating beautiful, healthy hair. So in short, what that's saying is we have a new hero ingredient, the Edelweiss extract. Now this comes from the Swiss Alps. It's quite an interesting extract because it grows way up in extreme climates. Why it's really special is that it's able to encapsulate all the ingredients and drive it even deeper than it could previous. So that's really, I guess, our new hero about the whole range in general is our new Edelweiss extract. So we'll talk about it as we continue, but that's something quite unique and quite different about the range. So as you see here, these are going to be our key products. So we have our hair loss control, we have our fortifying, we have our anti-gray elixir, we're going to have our aroma complex, and then we're going to have 2 different ampules. Now, this combines all 7 mechanisms for healthy hair growth. We're going to use highly concentrated active ingredients. We're going to combat hair loss, increase hair density and fullness, and boost melanin production. All right, now 7 mechanisms for healthy hair growth. So this is, I think, something really translatable to our clients. So we can clearly say these are going to be the 7 things that it does within the products to help with your hair growth. So number 1, we're going to nourish the scalp. Number 2, revitalize the hair root. Number 3, combats hair loss. Number 4, reactivates stem cells. Number 5, reverses glycation. Number 6, activates melanin production. Yes, reversing gray hair, which is pretty crazy. And then also conditions and protects the hair shaft. Also, again, any questions that you have, feel free to either just jump off of mute or write them in the chat as well. So first thing we're going to start with is nourishing the scalp. So this is our factor 1. This is going to supply the hair with important nutrients crucial for general health and to prevent hair loss. So an unhealthy scalp means unhealthy hair. All too often, we're focusing on our hair and we're forgetting about the scalp. I think that happens a lot, particularly with people with scalp issues, hair loss, things like that. They're just thinking, oh, my hair's falling out. I need to use something with moisture in it. But we really need to be thinking about how we can fix the scalp and have healthy hair coming out after. So our key ingredients for this is going to be lecithin, supplies moisture, will soften the scalp and help to protect it against external influences. We also use zinc and copper gluconate, have an antibacterial effect, prevent hair loss, and repair and revitalize the scalp. And then we also have yeast extract, which stimulates the energy supply of the cells due to its high content of vitamin B and trace elements, and this stimulates cell vitality. Second factor is going to be revitalizing the hair root. So factor 2 supplies vitamins, minerals, and trace elements to the hair cells. So our hair roots, also known as follicles, are located within the scalp. This is where new hair cells are formed, which harden and allow the hair to grow. This supply takes place through many small nerves and blood vessels. If there's a deficiency here, it can quite easily lead to hair loss. So the key ingredients in this factor is going to be our white lupin and microalgae extract. This is going to supply the scalp with nutrients, energizes the cells to help counteract aging and the effects of external factors and increase cell vitality. And then we also have biotin, so supporting the metabolism and vitality of hair cells and hair growth. So again, we need to look after the scalp. We need to revitalize the hair root. Now, number 3 is, I think, when it starts to get quite interesting. So this is all about the encapsulated Edelweiss extract. So it comes from organic farming. They have only certain people who actually produce this extract. They also have limitations on how much can be taken and how they do it. All comes from organic farming methods. And it's quite interesting because it faces all the elements, wind, sun, cold, all the different things that it can do, and it still withstands it. So it's a very, very tough ingredient. So why this is important is the exclusive encapsulation will transport the extract specifically into the keratinocytes in the growth zone of the hair root to achieve a more intensive and targeted effect. So it's able to be driven significantly deeper even than the previous products we had. Now, this will stimulate the cell division, which leads to an increase in hair thickness and density and keeping hair in the growing phase longer. When we look at our anagen, catagen, and telogen. Now, when we look at this, our anagen phase has anywhere from 2 to 6 years, which is our growing phase. Over here, you'll see our catagen phase is a transition, so a resting phase, 1 to 2 weeks. And then you'll see our telogen phase, which is our resting phase, and it's falling out to start again. Now, if someone's having lots of shedding, lots of hair loss, we would prefer the hair to be in the growing phase longer. It's better to have it in something like 3, 4, 5, or 6 years rather than in only 2 years. So this is helping to keep those hairs on your head longer, essentially. Key ingredients with this, and there's the burdock root I want to talk a little bit more about as well. So our large polyphenols in green tea activate the formation of young stem cells. It will neutralize free radicals and has up to 214% increase of hair growth in 10 days, which to me is pretty crazy. Like within just 10 days, you get 214% increase of hair growth. Now, the one that's also really interesting is the burdock root and the ginseng extract. So when we look at hair loss, if we think of men's hair loss and overproduction of testosterone, what this does is it prevents the formation of diotestosterone by inhibiting the enzyme 5 alpha oh my gosh, I never say that right, reduce, which leads to a lasting improvement in the anagen-telogen ratio in favor of actively growing hair for a visible increase in body and density, as well as longer hair growth. So when we have an overabundance of testosterone, that can help start to lead us into hair loss. Now, what happens when we have testosterone? And this enzyme right here that I never pronounced properly, and I'm sure I just butchered the name, but 5-alpha reduce. Basically, what happens when those two things mix, you create diotestosterone. That's what's going to be causing hair loss. So if you have that testosterone and it mixes with this enzyme, it creates diotestosterone. And so basically what our product is doing is neutralizing that enzyme. And so you're not creating the diotestosterone that will cause hair loss. And that does happen particularly a lot in men as well. So that's a really key ingredient is the burdock root and ginseng extract. So neutralizing the enzyme that creates diotestosterone. Any questions? Feel free to jump out. You can ask away. I actually can't see the chat at the minute. So if you just want to jump off mute, feel free. It's cool too. So factor 4, we reactivate stem cells. So the cell aging in the epidermis and on the hair follicle. So approximately 30% of aging is scalp, is genetic, 70% is environmental and can actually be influenced. So aggressive environmental factors like air pollution, air conditioning, UV radiation, stress, nutrition can all cause of hardening in the connective tissue and causing hair loss. These external attacks cause free radicals. Free radicals destroy cells in the basal layer. When the cells are destroyed, the stem cells kick into action, creating new cells through cell division. This happens through the repair enzyme. So our key ingredient within this, helping to reactivate stem cells, is our phytocell extract from apples. So protecting the existing intact stem cells, it helps to prolong their lifespan, regenerate stem cells with declining activity, and supports the natural formation of new stem cells. So as you can see right here, after 20 days, the activity of the stem cell increases by 50%. Again, massive claims, to me, that even just within 20 days, your stem cell increases by 50%. Next up is going to be reverses glycation. So glycation is the hardening of tissue in the dermis. So the blood sugar level, our glucose level, is one of the most important fuels for the body's processes and the central nervous system. However, glucose can also cause negative effects by depositing sugar in the dermis, affecting fibers such as collagen and elastin. Now, when this happens, the tissue hardens and becomes rigid, leading to hair splitting and falling out as the cortex is weakened, new hairs coming through thinner because they're being constricted, and finally, the dermis is so compromised, no hairs are able to grow. I kind of always picture that like sad plant in the corner, that hasn't been looked after, and the soil's starting to get hard, the plant's like looking floppy, it's growing out sad, it's not as lively anymore. That's kind of how I picture it to look. And I sometimes like to explain it that way to clients as well. So when glycation is reversed, the hair growth is restored and able to grow out without being strangled. The hair growth rate increases. The melanin, which is our color, is restored to the follicle. Follicles that were once dying begin to create new hairs, and the hair becomes stronger, no longer prone to breakage or to split ends. So in this, our key ingredient, red sage extract and vitamin B3, an extract from traditional Chinese medicine that reverses years of glycation in just 4 months, ensuring a more youthful, elastic scalp and ideal growth conditions for the hair. All right, I'm going to say that there's no questions so far. So activates melanin production. So factor 6, a visible reduction in the percentage of gray by up to 30% after 3 months. So we'll talk a little bit about this later in the presentation because it does come up in a few different products. So environmental pollution, stress, illness, hereditary disposition, and aging disrupt the healthy process in the melanocytes, the pigment-forming cells in the hair follicle. As a result, their hair will lose color pigment, so it will lose melanin. What we use here, 2 key ingredients. We use a biomimetic peptide, which is a pigmentation booster that will reactivate the melanocytes responsible for the hair color and lead to an increased melanin production that will create a visible reduction in the percentage of gray hair. Crazy. We also have the plant extract of canobush, which counteracts the aging process in the hair papilla. It uses an antioxidant molecule and prevents the formation of hydrogen peroxide and protects the hair against pigment loss. So what this is doing is actually bringing back pigment that is in gray hair. So you will visually see up to 30% reduction of gray while using these products. Pretty cool. And our last one is going to be protecting the hair. So our factor 7, conditioning the scalp and the hair. So of course, the hair care should not be neglected when caring for your scalp and combating hair loss. Our active ingredients condition the hair, make it silky soft without weighing it down, and protect it against harmful environmental influences. So our key ingredients are going to be wheat peptide conditions the hair fiber deep down by reaching the cortex. And we also use hydrolyzed keratin to form a protein shield, protecting the hair against harmful environmental influences, smooths the cuticle layer, making the hair softer and improving its combability. Any questions so far? Oh, I see one that something's in the chat. Let me just see if I can pull that up. With the wheat peptide, are they gluten-free? Oh, I will check for you. Leave that with me. Leave that with me, and I maybe put in the chat who your brand manager is, and I can get in contact with you and let you know that. Oh, is there another one in the chat? Allie, perfect. I will make sure to double check that for you. I genuinely don't know off the top of my head. All right, so for people who have used the previous ranges, I know that's a big question that will be asked is what is new from the previous ranges? So these are kind of the key takeaways. So we have highly concentrated active ingredients that work deep down that are combined with an innovative way and regenerative formulations. We have a mix of tried and tested active ingredients and some completely new, very innovative active ingredients. Of course, as time goes on, we have new technology, there's new findings, and so we have some of the old ingredients mixed with some of the new ingredients that we have. Each individual product has a new, improved formulation with significantly increased effectiveness. We have scientifically based evidence of the effectiveness of the active ingredients, and the active ingredients are significantly more plant-based than before. Also, they are called different names as well. So those are kind of the key takeaways. More plant-based. We have more research on the active ingredients and how they work. We have a new mix of old ingredients that were tried and tested that we love with new key ingredients that have come out to make it even more powerful and even better. Just double check the chat, make sure. Sometimes my chat disappears, sorry. So if I don't see something, just yell out for me. Okay, I guess no questions. So now let's talk a little bit about the ranges themselves, how to use it, and then of course talking about our brand new product as well. So what you'll see is we have hair loss control, we have our fortifying shampoo, hair loss control scalp lotion, our anti-gray, we have our 2 different concentrates, and then we have our aroma complex. Now, when we're thinking about the difference between hair loss shampoo and fortifying, trying to understand which range is for which client genuinely can feel a little bit confusing. So before we get into all of them, I'll just explain kind of how I look at it. So hair loss control, which I like that they've changed from anti-age, because sometimes people have hair loss even if they're young, right? I look at this that anybody who's having excessive hair loss, anybody who's noticing a decline in how their hair is growing, the health of it, the density of it, I'm going to go to hair loss control. So even if they're young and they're noticing that their hair is consistently getting worse, getting finer, becoming less dense, or they are older and their hair is just changing, hair loss control, it is going to be the stronger of the two. So I always kind of, for those categories, go to hair loss control. Now, for fortifying, I look at this as something more circumstantial. So someone's hair is normally healthy, normally not shedding, falling out, not super fine, but they've had a circumstance in their life that now their hair has changed. That may be stress from work. That may be someone just had a baby. It may be nutrition. It could be lots of different factors. But how I look at that is their hair was good before. They're in this period of a circumstance where it's not good, but eventually it will become good again. That's when I look for my fortifying shampoo. So sometimes they do have overlapping symptoms for sure. And you kind of have to look at then other factors. You know, are they getting older, but maybe they're a little bit stressed and now they're feeling like their hair is coming out? Well, it may not get better over time. So hair loss might be the better option. So that's kind of where I decide. Fortifying is more circumstantial hair loss. It was good before, they're in a period that it's not going so good, but eventually will become healthy and full and lustrous again. Hair loss is a consistent declining in hair density, feeling, thickness, or having excessive shedding. Hopefully that makes sense for everybody when to choose which range. So, starting first, our hair loss control shampoo. This was previously our anti-age shampoo. So I never consider acetif F. So our hair loss control shampoo gently cleanses the hair and scalp, supports the growth of strong, healthy hair. Plant extracts revitalize the scalp at the hair root and help protect against the cells, against free radicals and inflammatory processes of the scalp. So after shampooing, the hair is stronger, more voluminous, and has vibrant shine. So strengthens the thinning hair, helps with signs of aging and hair loss, and will also have a volumizing effect. Now, I know we've talked in depth about a lot of these ingredients. We don't have to go full into that again, but I know in each product, they do have extra amounts of some of the hero ingredients. So in our hair loss control shampoo, again, it's our white lupin and microalgae extract. Of course, we have our encapsulated edelweiss, which is able to encapsulate everything and deliver it very deep into the hair follicle. And then we have our phytocell from apples, so helping to protect the stem cells and helping with their lifespan. Now, when we use the shampoo, if you haven't used them before, you want to take off the nozzle, you'll see that it has like a little kind of bit sticking out of the top. Why that's there is rather than pouring it into your hand to lather it up, you can actually pour it directly onto your scalp. A lot of times people don't shampoo their hair properly. They kind of get in and it's like, oh, I did it, but they haven't actually got into the roots. So it's designed to be able to put right to the scalp. So distribute evenly in the hair and on the scalp. Briefly allow it to take effect and then rinse out. So really important again that they let that sit on for just a little bit, not just quick putting it on and rinsing it off. Now we'll talk again in a little bit about our lotions and our scalp concentrates that go hand in hand with this to combat hair loss. We have our scalp lotion. So this was previously our anti-age elixir, I don't know what it says that. So it was our anti-age elixir. So the scalp lotion slows down the aging process, strengthens hair growth, improves hair density, and counteracts hair loss. The lotion is filled with plant-based active ingredients to regenerate the hair root, helps them to form stable and strong hair again. It works to revitalize the hair root, increasing the productivity of stem cells and stimulate growth in their lifespan of the hair. So daily use counteracts both hair loss and age-related hair changes. In this, our key ingredients, again, our burdock root and our ginseng extract. This is where it's helping to use that, the thing to neutralize the enzyme, alpha-5 reduce. And so that way it's stopping the diotestosterone from happening. We also use the large phenethols and green tea glycoside, so activating the formation of young stem cells, neutralizing free radicals, and increase hair growth and density. Now, in just another couple of slides, we'll talk about the different options for programs. So just so you know, we won't leave that out, but the application of this is after shampooing. So after shampoo and conditioner. So you want it to be at the very end. It's not a rinse out, it's a leave-in product. So apply along the scalp parting and massage in gently. I think that's a really important thing as well, is that people are massaging it in. We want to be able to stimulate some blood flow and make sure that it's put in properly. Sometimes, again, people just kind of put it all in, but it really does make a difference to massage it in gently. And then we have our hair loss control scalp concentrate. So this is previously the anti-age therapy anti-shoot premium. So the scalp concentrate revitalizes the hair roots, prolongs the life cycle of the hair. 3 different mechanisms actively combat hair loss and stimulate hair growth. Again, our fantastic Edelweiss extract from the organic cultivation in the Swiss Alps reaches the hair root directly due to its special encapsulation. Therefore, it ensures that the lifespan of the hair is extended. The number of hairs that grow back is increased. The number of hairs that fall out is considerably reduced, resulting in the hair becoming thicker and denser. In addition to hair loss, hair graying is also counteracted. The hair grows back stronger and healthier. So again, some repeating on this, but these are our key ingredients: our encapsulated Edelweiss extract, large polyphenols, and green tea glycoside. And then we also have our phytocell from apples. Application. So applying the contents of 1 ampule to the scalp along the parting and massage in gently. Allowed to absorb before blow drying. So if you are putting it in, make sure it's dissolved in. If you're putting it on dry hair, just make sure that it's had time to actually go into the hair. This is talking about the intensive treatment. I'm going to talk about that in the next slide. So your different options that you have. So your ampules are a super dose. So anybody experiencing really heavy hair loss, real decline in density or quality of hair, I definitely think starting off with using the concentrates, the ampules, is really important because it's just going to make it become faster, and it's going to be that bit stronger for them. So in this, it says to use the contents of 1 ampule. Basically, once you've opened it, you have up to 48 hours to use the second half of the ampule. But it's really important that if you do that, for instance, someone maybe is only thinning around their front hairline, or they only have a spot that they're looking to fill in and you don't need the whole ampule. It is quite large. What you can do is crack it open, use half, whatever you need. The second that it's done, you need to cover it with foil, and it needs to be kept in the fridge and again used within 48 hours. So you are able to make that last a little bit longer. It is premium, it comes with a premium price tag. So being able to have it extended a little bit is also quite valuable for people. But they really need to ensure that straight after it's been used, so they've cracked it, they put it on, wrap it really tight with foil, and keep it in the fridge. Is there any questions on that? Can't see
No,
anyone. Is everyone still there?
I have one question.
Amazing.
So with the hair loss scalp lotion, if you're applying that every day, do you
Yes.
apply the elixir over the top of that, or do you not use it on the day that you're using that?
Yes, very good question. So you don't use them on the same day.
Okay.
So we'll talk about, I don't know if everyone can see this slide here. So basically we have the intensive growth program, and then we have the maintenance growth program. So with this is, of course, the ideal scenario, but there is, of course, times that people's budget doesn't allow. So again, I always look at this, but then also have a conversation in my consultation about budget, about how bad the hair loss is, and I can make my own program for them as well. So this is, of course, our intensive and maintenance, but you can make something in between for people as well. It doesn't have to just be one or the other. So in the intensive program, we need to do it for at least 3 months to start to see results. I always say, I've decided to be healthy, and this week I had salads, but then the other 4 weeks or the other 3 weeks of the month, I had burgers every day. I'm probably not going to be very healthy. I need to consistently stick with it. If I eat salads for the whole month, I'm going to be a lot healthier. It's the same thing if you are just using it once in a while, it's not going to be as beneficial, and you need to give it that full 3 months to be able to see the full workings of the program. So as you can see right here, we have our hair loss control shampoo. So work into hair and scalp, leave on a moment, and then you can rinse it off. The intensive program says to use your ampule, so your concentrate, every other day, and apply 3 to 4 times a week on the other days that you're not using the concentrate. So if I'm, say, using the concentrate 3 times a week, then I'm using the lotion the other 4 days. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
So this is the intensive growth plan.
One more question.
Please.
If you don't wash your hair every day,
Mm.
do you still apply the scalp lotion?
Yeah, you can. I just always think, again, this comes down to I ask questions. If people are using like tons of products and dry shampoos and things like that that are putting a coating over the scalp, it's not going to be good. So I would always explain, again, especially for the intensive, it's not cheap, right? It's pretty expensive. So I would be really making sure that, yes, they could put it on dry hair, but if it's like, very dirty hair, like they're washing it once a week, those oils, the dirt, things like that, products are going to start to cause a barrier and not be as productive. So I think if you do, yes, they could put it on dry, but maybe I would still encourage them to be washing their hair more than usual, maybe like every other day, things like that, rather than waiting multiple days and using these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Amazing. Now, this is called a maintenance, but I also think it can be for someone with not excessive hair loss. Maybe they're just starting to get hair loss. Again, different factors. This could still be for them as well. So you can, again, manipulate it and change it to what's going to work best for your client. So the maintenance program, again, we have our shampoo. So work into hair and scalp, leave in a moment before washing. Then it says to apply the ampule 1 to 2 times a week, and then applying the lotion 2 to 3 times a week on the other days. So the days I'm not using the concentrate. Again, if you're using that one ampule and you only have targeted areas, so maybe you're only needing to fill in the gaps here, or it's the top that's thinning, you can use that ampule, cover it with foil, keep it in the fridge, and use it up to 48 hours as well. So really, depending on how bad that hair loss is, you could even get, that little bit more from it. So applying the ampule 1 to 2 times a week. And then on the other days that you're not using the concentrate, you can apply the lotion. Do we have any questions on that, on the program, how to use them? Okay, good. Hopefully that means it makes sense to everybody. Okay, now this is a brand new product. Very, very cool. I think people are going to love it. So it's called the Anti-Gray Elixir. Do not be scared if it comes looking yellow. It's not yellow in this picture, but I don't have one on me right now, but when it does come, it almost has kind of a yellowy tinge. Do not be alarmed. That's how it's supposed to look. So the scalp elixir revitalizes the hair that has turned gray, and it helps it to regain its natural color. The hair is repigmented and lastingly protected against future pigment loss. So what we use is a biomimetic peptide that activates the natural melanin production of the hair papilla and the recovery of the original color. At the same time, the extract of candlebush leaves slows down any further graying by providing lasting protection for the pigment forming cells. So obviously I just read this. We have a biomimetic peptide, our plant extract of candlebush. The couple of quirky things about it is you need to use it every day for the first 3 months. And if you want to keep the gray at bay, so you want to keep the gray from coming back, you do need to consistently use it. It's not that once you've used it and then I stop using it for, 4 months later, the grays will start to come back. It's not that they're gone forever. You have to continuously use this product to maintain that. So that's something really important to know. So it comes with a pipette. If you've used Growth Booster, very similar to how that looks. What you do is you apply the contents of 1 to 2 pipettes to the scalp after shampooing or at any time and massage in gently. So this means it can go on wet, it can go on dry hair. It's not going to feel like anything. It absorbs quite easily. It almost kind of feels just like water. And we don't rinse it out, we leave it in. So ideally, use daily for the first 3 months. After 3 months, the application can be reduced to once every 2 days. But again, you do need to continuously use it to maintain that pigment that's come back into the hair. So it will visually reduce the gray hair by 30%. Is there any questions on that? Because it's very quirky. No? Okay, that's cool too. So a little bit about that as well. It has 97% natural ingredients, so very, very naturally based. My partner is actually on it at the moment, so hopefully I'll have some befores and afters for him soon. He's got like real streaky grays on the side and has been using it for about 6 weeks now. So we'll have some good photos for you soon, some good befores and afters. All right, then we're moving into our fortifying shampoo. So the mild shampoo fortifies the hair roots, gives weakened, brittle hair new strength, and prepares the scalp for sufficient care to combat hair loss and hair growth disorders. So an increased cell activity leads to an improvement in the hair, gentle cleansing and new vitality follicles extend their lifespan, resulting in healthy hair growth and reduced hair loss. Again, when I'm deciding between the two, always just keep in mind when we have our hair loss control, it is going to be a bit more powerful, a bit more active than the fortifying shampoo is. So when in doubt, I typically do kind of swing to the hair loss side, unless someone, again, is younger and we know it is very circumstantial hair loss, which does happen, then fortifying is the right way to go. So our ingredients here are coconut fatty acids with oat amino acids, helps to preserve the natural acid mantle of the scalp, revitalizing the hair root. We use white lupin and microalgae extract, so supplies the scalp with all the important nutrients required for the hair follicle renewal and healthy hair growth. And then we also use the wheat peptide, so nourishing the hair fiber deep down by reaching the cortex. And yes, I will get back to you on the gluten-free. Now, application, distribute evenly on the hair and the scalp. Same thing as before, briefly leave on to take effect, and then rinse thoroughly. Now, we'll move into our vitalizing scalp concentrate as well, but just knowing that this is what is going to be taking over for biofenolin. So in the Regenerante range, which is the darker blue, writing in scalp at the moment. So this will be replacing that. Then we have our vitalizing scalp concentrate, also known previously as Urgings Plus Vital. This will now be taking over for that. So if the body lacks important nutrients, this soon becomes noticeable in the form of lack of energy and a tired appearance, and it is not much different for the hair and for the scalp. So the ampule treatment nourishes the scalp and visibly improves the hair quality of hair lacking in body, balance, and resilience due to deficiencies in essential trace elements, minerals, and vitamins. This will nourish the hair-forming cells and ensure an ideal supply of nutrients to the hair roots. So this is essentially a super dose, vitamins, minerals, for that hair. It's the same as the Urgings Plus Vital before, where it was a blow dry extender, so it makes your hair feel really voluminous, really full, really hydrated. It will have that same thing as previous. So our key ingredients here are zinc and copper gluconate, have an antibacterial effect, prevent hair loss, and repair and revitalize the scalp. Our yeast protein regenerates the skin barrier and revitalizes the hair root. And white lupin and microalgae extract supplies the scalp with all the important nutrients required for hair follicle renewal and healthy hair growth. So how we use this. These, if you can see me, come in a container like this. They look really beautiful. So with this, what we would want to do, and this is either for a take home, 100%, or people can use this as an in-salon treatment in the salon, which I know a lot of clients really love. So at least once a week, apply 2/3 of the contents of 1 ampule to the scalp along the parting and massaging gently. Distribute the remaining third evenly in the hair and knead in with your fingertips. So again, that's just kind of gently working through the hair. So 2/3 on the scalp, 1/3 through the rest of the hair. You can do it once a week. And again, a fantastic in-salon treatment for someone who needs that kind of super dose of vitamins and minerals. And last but not least, we have our fortifying aroma complex, previously Visarome Dynamic R. So this is what they're going to look like. I think they look really, really nice. And the name has now changed to Aroma Complex. So the aroma complex utilizes the therapeutic powers of essential oils and powerful herbs to stimulate scalp functions, promote healthy hair growth, and provide a harmonious feeling of well-being. As a result, the scalp is revitalized, the energy supply to the hair roots is significantly improved, and growth disorders and hair loss are actively counteracted. So our key ingredients here: rosemary, reduces hair loss and has skin regenerating and circulating promoting properties. We use clary sage, helps with tension and stress. Thyme helps reduce hair loss, has an anti-inflammatory effect, and strengthens the nerves and immune system. And then lavender has relaxing and harmonizing effect. So how you can use this. So several times a week, really as often as you like, apply the contents of 1 to 1.5 pipettes, approximately 1 ml, to the scalp and massage in gently with your fingertips. So again, can be used at any time that you like with this one. Oh, we've done it in good time. Okay, how is everybody feeling about the new products? Do we have any questions?
Yes.
Oh, great.
The anti-gray
Yes.
going to be applied over the top of the elixirs and everything for hair loss as well?
Yeah, I think it can for sure. I don't see any problem with doing that.
Yeah,
Yep. And I think again, they're all kind of in that range. I think that they very much could be used together for
yeah.
sure.
Okay, cool.
People have multiple problems, right? They might be gray and they're having hair loss. So let's fix them both.
Yeah, cool. And do you have to dry it in before you apply the other one, or would you
I
just,
would definitely, especially if you're using the hair loss control and the ampules and lotion, let those dry fully in first and
yeah,
then apply that. I wouldn't go straight over the top while it's wet with the other one. I would give it a little time. You could even maybe do like one in the morning and one at night
yeah,
if you wanted. Again, because the anti-gray, you do need to put in every day, wet or dry, it doesn't matter. It just dries in like water. So I think as long as you're giving it time for the hair loss control to dry in and so it doesn't feel wet anymore, then absolutely I think you could go straight over the top or do it at another point in the day.
okay. And let's just go over the shampoos again for the hair loss.
Yes.
So more so for the fortifying shampoo.
Yeah.
So you would use that maybe with hair loss from pregnancy, uh,
Yeah. You
stress.
know, I wish that there was just like a this category and this category that would make it
Yeah,
easy. Sometimes things overlap. I was talking with New Zealand and they're like, but just which one goes for which category? And it's not just that simple, right? Someone may be 20, they've just had a baby and they're having lots of shedding, but normally before that, their hair was fine. Eventually, once they go through this period, it will be fine again. That's when
yeah,
I would go for fortifying because it's just going to help to speed up the process. However, if we had someone who's maybe in their 40s and they've just had a baby, their hair has already had a slight decline in the health of it. Maybe it's already starting to become finer. It's already starting to become brittle. It's less dense. Then in that case, even though it is circumstantial, her hair has actually changed. I then would go for hair loss control. So it's a little bit about in that consultation investigating, like, is this the first time you've experienced hair loss or is, becoming fine and brittle, or is this just happened to you? So kind of getting that little bit deeper because again, sometimes they do overlap a little bit.
and how where would you categorize that for someone with having chemo, for instance?
Yep, for sure. For chemo, of course, that is circumstantial, but because chemo is so hard on the body and you have such extreme hair loss, I
Yeah.
definitely would go to hair loss control. That's
Okay.
what I would use. And what I would do is wait until their chemo is completely finished. So I wouldn't recommend to start it during chemo. What actually Libya Statique recommends is to use Genesicap while chemo is happening, which is from the dry hair range. And basically that will help to soften the scalp because it will become quite dry typically in chemo.
Yeah.
So what they recommend is to use Genesicap. And then once the chemo has officially ended, then start the hair loss control with the lotion and the ampules. Everyone can see that here. So what you would of course need to do, even if we were in the perfect world, probably an intensive growth would be the ideal situation, but it's not always in everyone's budget. So, and again, we need to think we need to be using that for 3 months for that full system. So what I would be talking about is, what can we kind of afford and maybe tailoring a program to them. So maybe it's the intensive, maybe it's the maintenance, maybe it's somewhere in between, but kind of working with them on what's going to work best for them. But that's what I would do. So Genesicap during chemo, when chemo is done, using the hair loss control, 3 months as a system, shampoo, concentrates, and lotion. And then after that, once the hair has started to grow back again, and they're just looking for it to become longer, you can actually even switch to growth booster. So in the long hair range, what that's going to do is help the hair to grow faster. So we need to get it started, get that cell activity going. Once that's done in the 3 months, if their hair is feeling healthy and strong, you can then go to growth booster.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course, great questions. Anybody else in the call have any questions for me? No? I might just stop recording.